Thank you very much for taking out time to join us on this channel once again. We are here to give you a very great, wonderful information that is transformative and that can lead you to the great path of life. Here with me is my co-host in person of Mr. Daniel Omaro. We have very vital things to provide to you that can make you to be outstanding as a teaching teacher. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Daniel, what do you have for us today?
Thank you, Mr. Sam. After our first deliberation on the challenges confronting students and teachers generally, we looked at it holistically. We've also discovered after there are numerous challenges that confront teachers themselves. And such challenges ranges from overburdening teachers to overwhelming or overwhelmed teachers. Teachers that obviously they are overwhelmed with the task before them, they are overwhelmed with the demand before them, and with the pressure to deliver to the student as well. And all these different aspects of phases has actually accumulated together. They form ineffectiveness. The result is inefficiency, sort of.
Okay.
So looking at it, we can now ask exactly the most important question: why are most teachers overwhelmed? Why are they overburdened? Because you look at it from all perspectives. Why are they overwhelmed? With a quick one, because of the nature of the work. But don't forget, the nature of the work hasn't changed. It's the same assignment from time immemorial. And so it hasn't changed, but something has changed. Something is changing. So that's a problem. So how do we make teachers to enjoy their job?
Not to endure.
Not enduring it. Today, in developing countries, generally, Nigeria inclusive, teachers are enduring their job. And most of them see teaching as last resort, where there is no job. They want to quickly jump into it and see how we can just hold on there till something else comes up, something better. So teaching becomes the worst kind of profession, which is not supposed to be. It's a noble profession. It's a respectable profession. In developed countries, teachers are well respected.
That's right.
Because they are conveyor of development. They are a medium of development. Development is personalized in teachers. So if you see a teacher, you should be able to see development. So how do we bring solution to these challenges? How do we provide solution to these challenges? Become the goal. If we want to start, we look at it from two aspects, or three basic aspects from my perspective. Number one is the psychological view. Psychological view of solution. The number two is the institutional view. And number three is the behavioral view. These three views can be theorized. We can put them in theories. So if we adapt the three of them, if we use the three views to provide solution to this problem, from the psychological view to the institutional view, and then to the behavioralism view or behavioral view, we can see that for each of these views, if we analyze it carefully, we'll be able to come to a palpable solution and make teachers to be more effective. So let's take it one after the other. Let's take the psychological view. Now, we've already identified that teachers are largely inefficient or largely ineffective and inefficient because of the overburdened nature. It will be deceptive not to acknowledge the fact that the reality before us. You see teachers coming out after a day's work look so exhausted,
so fagged out.
Such a teacher to the world and to himself is useless at that point in time, because he has been soaked, he has been sapped, he has been drained. So, but sincerely, that work can still be done without arriving at that state of almost effective or inefficient. Yes. So, and that's where the psychological view comes in. How do you make a teacher to be effective or efficient? Adapting a psychological approach. The approach of the psychological approach states that for a teacher to be effective or efficient, it starts from the position of the mind.
Yes.
It's a mental structure. And that's why, going back to our last episode of the strategies for differentiation, when we talk about the content, the environment, the product, and all the likes, the four strategies. If you look at it, it means that you have to adapt a mental structure from the word go.
That's right.
A mental structure that helps the teacher to shape the understanding that, okay, this profession as it is a profession that I love. Loving something starts from a psychological viewpoint. So it's not because a thing is beautiful, that is why I'm loving it. No, that would be conditionally. But if I am loving it because I derive fulfillment
from it, yes.
So then that psychological approach now start dealing with the intuition that brings exhaustion, being powerless or being overwhelmed. It starts from that inner being of I am not fulfilled.
Sure.
So the moment a teacher is not fulfilled, I believe I'm complicating. The moment the teacher is not fulfilled, what happens is that right from the word go, as he steps into the class, the mood from the beginning is that I don't like what I'm doing. I am not fulfilled. This word is going to kill me. This job is killing. This job is exhausting. But the psychological approach will now help the teacher to understand that first, get it straight. Change your psychics, change your mentality, change your approach. What is the approach? This job, I love this job. It's a medium of impartation. It's a medium where I can transform lives. Now, it's not the financial benefits at all.
No.
It has nothing to do with the finance. But what we are actually talking about is the satisfaction
from this profession.
Exactly, that is derived from the profession. So when that is clear, you see just the first approach, not the second or the third. Just the first approach, you see that the teacher from the first word go, because he has a mental structure of I am going to enjoy what I'm doing. I love it, not because the environment is beautiful, not because the children are everywhere, but I love what I'm doing because I derive fulfillment from it. And there is a void in me that is craving for more. It's just like a well. The bigger the well, the more the water you can take. So if your life is just like that well, and rain comes on it, there's raination and continuously, you see, it keeps taking in. The well cannot say I'm exhausted or don't give me again, because there is a vacuum.
Yes.
So the psychological approach is that as a teacher, create a vacuum of that the fulfillment will be filled, that will be filled by the fulfillment you will derive from teaching.
That's right.
On that note, summarily, when I'm a teacher, because there is a void, that void will continue to push me, continue to make me to go to my place of duty or my duty post. If I don't teach in a day, what happens? And if I don't teach well, I am dissatisfied. So my dissatisfaction is not coming because I taught. It's coming because I did not teach. Different approach. So if I teach and I deliver excellently, I am excited. Yes. Psychological approach. I am excited because, and that excitement takes view of my outer disposition. Sure. So everything I do outwardly is seen. I say, oh wow, this person looking excited, is happy. By 5 p.m., an average teacher you see on the way or on his way home, who has not delivered himself or who does not understand this approach, is exhausted.
Extremely.
Is out of stock. Is fact out. Totally. So, but the moment a teacher gets to this level, because this is deep, this is simplicity, but when a teacher is able to resolve this mentality, if you see such a teacher exhausted, you will know he didn't actually do what he needs to do. So the word is from the beginning of the day, before he or she sets out, the mentality has already been set straight, and there is a vacuum that needs to be filled. So that vacuum is what is craving to be filled. The Bible said the deep collect for the deep.
That's right.
So the deeper your passion, the deeper your craving for satisfaction. So, and when that satisfaction is being craved for, you will see you don't have any reason to outwardly look exhausted, because in the first place, you are not the one that is just trying to.
The energy is not coming out from
exactly
the physical being.
From the physical being.
The energy is coming from within.
From within.
Anything coming from within, there's kind of a refreshing.
A refreshing.
And also refreshing.
Exactly.
So a system has already been created that once I get myself plugged into this particular thing, I don't have to struggle.
Exactly.
Just when you have a structure for a thing,
yes.
When there's a structure in place, you don't struggle to deliver. Because definitely there's bound to be an exhaustion.
There's bound to be an exhaustion. That is exactly what the psychological view is, our approach is all about. Maybe we'll take the second approach, which is the institutional approach.
Okay.
Now, the institutional approach to exhaustion as it relates to teacher is that as a teacher, your institution, where you find yourself, determines if you're going to be exhausted or not. So, the institution, which becomes a system, either determine your disposition positively or negatively. So, and in this approach, if a teacher will overcome exhaustion or dissatisfaction with his job, it's largely not determined by him, because he cannot control the system. He cannot determine what goes out from the system, what goes in. So this institutional approach now states that exhaustion and inefficiency is not the fault of a teacher. That is coming from an institution. It's a systemic problem. Now, this second approach is not also wrong, but we are also looking at, just the way we look at the institutional approach. How do you now deal with this second approach in order for you to be able to overcome? Because our goal is to provide solution, to make you, as a teacher, as you are listening to us, to be able to overcome this challenge.
Sure.
You see, one fact is that the moment a man realizes there is a problem, and he knows the source of the problem, believe me, that problem is like 80%.
80% result, yes.
So the next 20% is you taking a step practically to resolving that problem. Approach is about institution meting down an unwanted pressure on the student, on the teacher. Then how do you take the pressure off yourself and maintain his mindset or his mental structure?
Mindset.
Exactly. The same mindset and the mental structure that delivers you from a systemic problem. In 1958, precisely, a certain political scientist named David Easton proposed a theory called the system theory. I will give a short exposition on this and relate it to how it works. A systems theory, and in that systems theory, he drew a mental structure or construct. There's a mental construct in which you have a political system, various systems that makes up the economy. Political system, which is the superstructure. You have the economic system, you have the social system, and all sorts of systems, pocket of systems in the society. And it gave us two standpoints: demand and support. Demand and support. That a system will continue to function effectively, whether negatively or positively, depending on how you see it now, if the environment, and the environment now, every one of us are part of the environment.
Yes.
If the environment continue to give support to the system, the system will continue to exist. But if the environment withdraws support, The system might likely crash. Now, system in this quote now is not the building. The system is policy and structure that stifle or that makes something to work.
Yes.
So a system, in essence, is a combination of policies that makes up a particular system.
Sure.
So now, being that as it may, when you bring that now into play, you see that where the demand comes in, as an individual in the society or in the environment, we place demand on the political system or on the system. We place a demand on that political system. What are those our demand come? We want this. So as a teacher, if you bring this theory now that I'm explaining now into this institutional approach,
that's right.
As a teacher, for example, you place a demand on the system of your institutional approach now. And what is your demand? For example, I want this thing like this. I want this thing like this. I want this thing like this. And the system is not meeting your demand. Ordinarily, it will lead to you withdrawing your support.
Sure.
And withdrawing your support, what it does to the teacher, please just pay attention how it works. What it does to the teacher is that the moment you withdraw your support, there's this psychological disposition from your end. It's not my business. Whatever that happens, let it happen. I don't care. After all, am I the owner of the school? I don't know if you understand that. So automatically, the institution is going to suffer because you have withdrawn your support. Mind you, you only place a demand. You place a demand, okay, sir, can we do it like this, do it like this? And the institution did not meet your demand. David Distin said, what happens is that the individuals will withdraw their support. And when they withdraw their support, what happens? The system suffers. And mind you, you are part of the system. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you are part of that system. The only thing is that you were not part of the policy that created the system. But somehow you are part of the system. Now, what do you need to do? If withdrawing your support will, on the long run, bring you into a state of what? Exhaustion, perplexity, frustration, limitation, inefficiency, and discouragement. Then what do you need to do? For the system that is not meeting your demand? No, that is where you need to come back to your individual approach, which is the third one. Behavioral approach. You see these three approaches now, I'm bringing it one after the other. The behavioral approach now states that we do not study, we are not interested in studying a group. We are not interested in just studying the institution. We are interested in making sure that you as an individual, your behavior and your disposition to whatever that happens to you and around you is different from what is coming to meet you.
Exactly.
Like a popular saying, I can't really figure out the person that said it now. He said, we are 90% how we respond to what happens to us. We are only 10% of what happens to us. That means it is not what happens to you that determines your life. It is how you respond
to it. Yes. The great one.
That's why the behavioral approach substantiates or gives us a very good background to submit that as a teacher, if you will survive, listen, if you will survive, you must pay attention to your responses and how you react, how you carry out your demands, how you carry out even your supports. Now, otherwise, it will come back to where you. I'm not telling you how you teach. Oh, this is what you want to teach maths, how you teach English. No. Every other thing will fall in place if your behavior is aligning.
That's right.
If you have a behavior that is insurmountable or unsurmountable, it cannot be suppressed by seemingly unprofiting or unfavorable policies, systemic policies, tends to overshadow such policies. You will stand head high above them while you are smiling within a system that is not, that the policy is going to be favorable, but because your behavior supersedes that of the system. The system cannot give you a natural behavior. You are the individual. So we are trying to reorient that as a teacher, you need to start looking at yourself from an individual who can make so much change Because we are 99% of what we do, how we respond to issues, and just 1% of what happens to us. It's the same way of saying 90 to 10, 9 to 1, and the rest. So it means that as a teacher, I must be very careful about my disposition. You see where we started from. So when you look at the psychological approach, you see that it is a mental structure. If you look at the behavioral approach, you see that it's a dispositional approach. It's something that what you give out. Then you look at the institution. The institution is in between. It's trying to press you down. Are you going to be pressed down? Are you going to choose to take we are not trying to tell you you will have to be rebellious. No, the institutional approach is not telling you that you'll be rebellious. No. It's only telling you that, if you place a demand and you are not being supported, or your demand is not being met, instead of you withdrawing your support from the system, what is expected of you as a teacher or as an individual in an organization, if you are a worker, maybe generally in an institution as it were, what is expected of you is to view your approach from a behavioral approach. Because the Bible said, seeth a man diligent in his business. He will sit before king. It didn't say seeth a man diligent in, or seeth an institution.
A man.
A man.
So a man is the determining factor.
Is a determining factor. So you determine a whole lot what will happen to you.
I believe that has incited you, that has transformed you, that has transformed your mindset. We hope to get feedback from you. Thank you very much.